I want to start with the president's claim that unemployed Americans will get $400 per week in unemployment assistance. But let's talk about what the executive action really says. Americans only get money if A, a governor asks for it, B, if the state kicks in $100 for each person each week. But many states, as you know, are really struggling to make ends meet. So let's be clear. No unemployed American is going to get an extra penny unless their governor asks for it and can afford it. Is that right?
Well, look, don't forget, please, the state unemployment benefits continue. There's no effect on what they do. And yes, you are correct. For an extra $100, we will lever it up. We'll pay 3/4, and the states will pay 25%. And I think the way this is going to work out, we have additional funds that we will repurpose for this. This is an essential item. We've tried to get it through the Democratic House for, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. And it's going to be a form of economic assistance. Probably you'll get $800 total, federal and state. And if we get it going September 1st, which is what the deadline looks like, that probably give the workforce an increase in wages.
What do you mean,
it's a wage increase after tax of $1,200. Well, at a minimum, we will put in $300, and the states will continue with their $400. But I think all they have to do is put up an extra $1, and we'll be able to throw in the extra $100. So it should be a total. It should be, may not be in every case, because as you know, we're talking averages. Some states higher, some states lower. But on average, Dana, it'll run to about $800. That's about $1,200 wage increase.
The executive action says $400 and that the state would pay 25% of this. You're talking about some other money that I don't know about.
Well, we will stand ready to repurpose if states put in a little bit more, is all amounts to. I mean, right now, that number's going to run around $700. I think they'll get to $800. Some states can get above $800 with our federal help. And again, the key point here is that it's a wage increase, Dana, of about $1,200 for the last 4 months of the year. That's a big pay hike. And not only does that reward the heroes who have been working, I think it's an incentive to get more people who want to come into the workforce.
But we need a bit of a reality check here. You do agree that the only way any of this could possibly happen is if the states actually ask for it and create a whole new system. And is that what your expectation is?
Well, look, that's like topping it off. State benefits, I mean, we're talking about averages here across the country, but state benefits run about $300-400. That's going to continue. We're not touching that. That's
we're not
up to the
talking about
states.
this. We're just talking about the enhanced unemployment benefit. Let's leave that out of this conversation.
Correct. So for $100 add on, we will put on $300.
What makes you think that states have that $100 a week per person who is unemployed in their state to even put into this potential pot of money?
Well, I think they'll be able to make room. Our estimates from the Treasury Department in terms of the CARES Act 1 was that the states have not spent all the money that was allocated to them, and that there's, considerable overflow that they could make use of. We're going to operate on the same principle in the executive order. We will be repurposing funds from other areas. Based on our estimates, the states will be able to provide the extra $100, and that will gross up the whole benefit to something on average of about $800.
Have you checked with the states? How many of the 50 states and D.C. and other territories say that they are going to be able to pony up $100 a week per unemployed citizen?
Yeah, good question. We'll probably find that out, today and tomorrow as we make our canvas. We've been in touch with them. We have very good records coming out of the Treasury Department, but we will be in touch with them.
So you don't know. So you don't know yet. The president didn't know the answer to that before he made his announcement.
Well, look, at the moment, we know the money, probably a good $80 to $100 billion was not spent. So we think that's distributed across the 50 states should be ample. We'll find out the exact specifics today and tomorrow.
So I want to remind you of something that you said about this kind of move just this past week. Listen.
We got to fix and extend the unemployment issue right now. I don't think that can be done administratively. I think that requires an act of Congress.
So the whole question of whether there's the money for this to work is one, but what even you yourself said is whether it's even legal. Do you think it is?
Well, I'm not the lawyer, and I probably spoke out of turn there because I worked all week with our counsel's office, and they proved to me that we could use the Stafford Emergency Act and that we could repurpose funds to do that. So I probably shouldn't have said that. I was thinking at that point we might be able to get a deal with congressional Democrats. As you know, we were unable to get that deal. We tried a couple times. We offered compromises. We couldn't get it. So the president decided to take action on his own. Of course, I think he was right to do so. And when the lawyers gave me a green light, then sure, no problem. We have a lot of, the president has said for, 4 or 5 months regarding this whole virus emergency crisis and so forth. He has said we will use every power the federal government has to help out. And I think this is an example of that.
So you do think this is a real power, because there's a big question about whether he way overstepped his power.
I understand. There will be a debate. I'm not the lawyer, so I can't give you the final word. But Counsel Pat Cipollone has gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, and he believes we can do it, and we are going to absolutely do it. We will begin, I believe this will begin effective August 1st, actually.
Well, one quick other question about this apparent unemployment plan. We've talked to experts about this who say that even if this did happen, that it could take months to get this new system up and running. You agree with that?
No, I don't. The Labor Department, working with the states believe it can happen much, much faster than that. Mind you, all the federal money we have been putting in was running through the state systems, so those systems, which needed some reform and needed some updating, to be sure, those systems are in much better shape today than they were 3-4 months ago.
Checks?
I don't want to be specific because you might hold me to it, as you should, but I think it's going to be in a couple of weeks, and I think it's going to come to about $1,200 per person. That's a huge wage increase.
You keep saying $1,200 per person. Are you talking about in addition to the unemployment that they're already getting?
Oh, no.
Where does that number come from?
That's the payroll. I beg your pardon. The $1,200 will come from the payroll tax deferral.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Okay. All
right, because there's a lot of numbers here, and it's a little confusing. I'm going to get to payroll tax in a minute. Go ahead.
It should be $800. I beg your pardon. It should be $800 for the unemployment.
800 or 400?
No, it should be $800. If the states step up, we're prepared to match. That should come out $400 federal, $400 states.